right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 659 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. I'm about to talk a little bit of Georgia Southern today. We're going to talk about the secondary because I know a lot of people was worried about the secondary when it comes to us going up against the Citadel because they didn't pass much. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, Georgia Southern secondary will be tested. And I'm going to give you the reasons why. I'm going to let you know what UAB done against North Carolina A&T. And kind of give you guys somewhat of a sense of what to look for when this game will be played on on Saturday. So get ready. Hopefully you guys will understand where I'm coming from, and hope you take this information and just keep it on the bulletin board when we play against these guys on Saturday. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I am also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And I'm also on X at VF Baller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. Not going to try to keep you guys long this go around. I mean, I think this is a pretty straightforward episode, and just want to let you guys know that this game could be a shootout. The more I think about it, the more I look at it, this game could be a legit shootout because Georgia Southern beat the Citadel 34-0. And we threw the ball in the air. We actually had a balance of running as well. So I think that's one thing we do have over UAB. Because UAB didn't run the ball that much against North Carolina A&T. I think they had 4 guys that run the ball, and really one of them was the running back, and one of them was the quarterback, and they basically, collectively ran for almost like maybe 125 yards, maybe a little bit more than that. But you got to understand, Jalen White had 120 by himself or something like that. So, I mean, we're going to be able to have a little bit of an advantage if we do run the ball from what I see. If you look at what North Carolina A&T did against them, they didn't run the ball very well. They didn't do much very well, but they didn't throw the ball much either. Kind of similar to what the Citadel did against us. But one thing that does stand out with UAB, they threw the ball very, very well. 38 of 41, 291, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jacob Zeno looked really good against North Carolina A&T. Not to take nothing away from those guys for North Carolina A&T, but they are North Carolina A&T. As far as Georgia Southern goes, we have a much better secondary, in my opinion. You got Jalen Denton, you have TJ Smith, you got Williams, you also have Hickman, you got Mark Stampley. You got some guys back there that can get at the ball if need be. Some excellent cornerbacks that will test UAB. Now, why I think this game will be a shootout? Because, to be honest, I have a lot of faith in Georgia Southern secondary, but I don't know what they're going to look like. I know these guys are talented. I know what they can do, but they haven't been tested yet, so I haven't seen it. So this could be a situation where this could be a 28-31 game or 31-35 game if we're not careful. One thing that we can do if we don't want to be in a shootout is slow the game down with O.J. Arnold and Jalen White. I want to see those guys pretty much set the tempo, because if not, this could be a shootout with UAB. And with us being in Paulson, I feel like we have a big advantage with us having a secondary and the talent that we have. I think we have a huge advantage. I don't think this is going to be the same game as last year where their running backs basically ran over our defense. I think our defensive front is much better at tackling than it was last year. I think last year we had a very big problem with tackling. Strength and conditioning was an issue. I talked to some people on the inside, and I talked to some people who usually go to the games for the most part. They was looking, and like, you can tell a lot of these players just was not, especially the year before. You could tell the year before last year, you could tell like a lot of guys was not really on the strength and conditioning side of things, and a lot of people got hurt. We got a lot of kids that got hurt later on in the year. I don't think that's going to be the issue this year because not just the injury side of things, but when you're beefed up, you have more weight on you. You have a much more girth under your body. You're going to be able to take some players down. And we saw that with the way that Georgia Southern went after the players from the Citadel. Now, we need to do a little bit better with containing the spread option, which I don't think that UAB is running it. They're basically running the same type of offense we're running. And with Trent Dilfer's their coach, they're going to try to throw the ball more. So, like I said, this could be a situation if we're not able to stop the pass. You already know how Georgia Southern does. We have a plethora of receivers where we could throw the ball around too. This could be a high scoring game. Like I said, at the end of the day, even though the secondary will be tested, it all can negate if we can keep the ball out of UAB hands and just run the ball effectively. And we got maybe 3 to 4 running backs that literally can run the ball very, very well. So I expect Coach Ellis and company to try that. I expect them to try to keep the ball away from their quarterback, just to keep a situation where like Jacob Zeno threw for, almost 90%. You know what I'm saying? You got to say 38 or 41 is like, that's ridiculous to have any type of completion percentage. Even though with 41 attempts, you only threw for 291, that's not a really good ratio, but still, only having 3 incompletions is absolutely insane. So that just shows you how efficient they're going to try to be in the short passing game, because a lot of their players, they had 4 catches for 30-something yards, 2 catches for 28 yards. They really didn't have to throw, it looked like they didn't really try to throw too deep to anybody over on the field. So it was like a lot of consistent, concise, and effective passing that really beat up on Carolina A&T. With that being said, that does give us a chance to keep things in front of us. If they're going to try that again, that does give a chance to keep things in front of us. And with the instincts that some of our players have, we should have opportunities to get in front of the ball and get a couple takeaways. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game for the secondary. I mean, last week we kind of saw what this team is about when it's stopping the run, because we couldn't stop the run for anything. But now this week is going to be the flip side of that, where we're going to basically see what these guys can do in the secondary. So it's a pretty good test prior to going to Wisconsin and possibly prior to going to Ball State, playing those 2 games on the road before we come back home to Coastal Carolina. So this is pretty much a payback game. This is a get back game. I feel like with us dropping the ball in Birmingham last year, you got to understand, we were down by 7 in the 4th quarter. We could have won this game. And I think our defense, for the most part, let us down. I think there's going to be a different story this go around. I think this team is a lot more efficient. They're a lot more physical. They're not afraid to get after the quarterback. This defense looks hungry. They look like they're ready to make some things happen. They want to create some turnovers to give the ball back to the offense. And the offense just look like how they've been looking for the past year and a half now. I mean, the offense with Coach Clay Helton, we're really looking good now as far as throwing the ball, being efficient, taking care of business, getting into the end zone. And really, that's all you can ask for. If we take care of business, make sure nothing gets behind us on defense. And like I said, the secondary will be tested, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Georgia Southern will pull away in this game. Will win. I will be having a pregame show throughout the game, before the game starts on Saturday, give you my final thoughts and opinions. But knowing me, covering Georgia Southern, you already know that I am extremely biased, and I feel like Georgia Southern's going to win the game. So we're going to see how that plays out. Secondary, you've been put on notice. If you've been looking at any film, you've been looking at the numbers that Jacob Zeno put up. If you've seen what UAB has done to A&T, you've been put on notice, and I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be ready to go. There's no doubt in my mind. And you look at how well TJ Smith and Demel Hickman and Mark Stampley and all these other guys have been stepping up. I'm pretty sure those guys are going to be definitely ready to go to take it to UAB and pulse it. So if you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Georgia Southern secondary is going to take it to the UAB? Because UAB is efficient in passing the ball. It's going to be like a totally different situation where it comes to the Citadel game. And don't get it twisted. These guys at UAB may try to run the ball again against us because of what happened last year, but I think our front 7 is going to be more prepared and ready to go. So that's the way I feel about it. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I am on X at VF Baller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. I want to thank you guys for the support. You guys have been absolutely amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough. I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to slide and watch a little bit of football. I think the Chiefs and the Lions are playing. So I'm going to watch a little bit of that, and I'll be back with the next episode on to close out the week. All right, y'all. You guys take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.